No matter who you are, and no matter where you have been, and no matter where you are right now, you are welcome here. Welcome, everyone, to Daily Audio Bible Chronological. I'm Jill, and today is the 12th day of April. Welcome, everyone. What a joy it is to be here with you. And we begin a brand new week. It is all brand new right in front of us. It's a clean page. It is a brand new, clean slate. And we get to write what happens today with every word, with every choice, with every thought, with every action. We get to write the story of our own lives. Let's choose wisely. Today we continue in the book of 1 Samuel. We're going to read chapters 15 through 17. It's a brand new week, and this is a very first brand new translation for us. We're reading today the Lexham English Bible. 1 Samuel chapter 15. Then Samuel said to Saul, "Yahweh sent me to anoint you as king over his people Israel. So then listen to the words of Yahweh. Thus says Yahweh of hosts, I have observed what Amalek did to Israel, how he opposed him when he went up from Egypt. So then, go and attack Amalek and utterly destroy all that is his. You must not spare him, but kill both man and woman, both child and nursing infant, both ox and sheep, both camel and donkey." Saul summoned the army and mustered them at Telaim, 200,000 foot soldiers and 10,000 men of Judah. Then Saul came up to the city of Amalek and set an ambush in the wadi. Saul said to the Kenites, "Go, leave, withdraw from among the Amalekites, so that I do not destroy you with them. You have shown loyal love to all the Israelites when they came up from Egypt." So the Kenites left from among the Amalekites. Then Saul defeated the Amalekites from Havilah, as one goes to Shur, which is east of Egypt. He captured Agag, the king of Amalek, alive, but all the people he utterly destroyed with the edge of the sword. However, Saul and the army spared Agag and the best of the sheep, and the cattle and the second best of the young fatlings, and all that was valuable. They were not willing to utterly destroy them, but all the possessions that were despised or worthless, they utterly destroyed. Then the word of Yahweh came to Samuel, saying, "I regret that I made Saul king, for he has turned back from following me and has not kept my word." Samuel became angry, and he cried out to Yahweh all night. Then Samuel got up early in the morning to meet Saul. Samuel was told, "Saul has gone to Carmel, and look, he is setting up a monument for himself." Then he turned around and crossed over and went down to Gilgal. When Samuel came to Saul, Saul said to him, "May you be blessed by Yahweh. I have kept the word of Yahweh." But Samuel said, "Then what is this bleating of the sheep that I hear in my ears, and the lowing of the cattle that I am hearing?" Saul said, "They have brought them from the Amalekites. The troops spared the best of the sheep and the cattle in order to sacrifice them to Yahweh your God. But the rest we have utterly destroyed." Then Samuel said to Saul, "Stop, and let me tell you what Yahweh said to me last night." So he said to him, "Speak." Samuel said, "Even though you are small in your own eyes, are you not the head of the tribes of Israel? Yahweh has anointed you as king over Israel. When Yahweh sent you on your way, he said to you, 'Go, you must utterly destroy the sinners, the Amalekites, and you must fight against them until you have destroyed them.' Why did you not listen to the voice of Yahweh and fall with shouting on the plunder? You have done evil in the sight of Yahweh." Then Saul said to Samuel, "I have listened to the voice of Yahweh, and I have gone on the way that Yahweh sent me. I brought Agag, the king of Amalek, and the Amalekites I have utterly destroyed. The troops took from the plunder, sheep and cattle, the best of the things devoted to destruction, to sacrifice to Yahweh your God at Gilgal." Then Samuel said, Is there as much delight for Yahweh in burnt offerings and sacrifices as there is in obeying Yahweh? Look, to obey is better than sacrifice, to give heed than the fat of rams. For rebellion is like the sin of divination. Arrogance is like iniquity and idolatry. Because you have rejected the word of Yahweh, He has rejected you from being king. Then Saul said to Samuel, I have sinned because I have transgressed the commandment of Yahweh and your words, for I feared the troops and I listened to their voice. So then, please pardon my sin and return with me so that I can worship Yahweh. But Samuel said to Saul, I will not return with you, for you have rejected the word of Yahweh, and He has rejected you from being king over Israel. As Samuel turned around to go, he caught hold of the hem of his robe, and it tore. Then Samuel said to him, Yahweh has torn the kingdom of Israel from you today, and has given it to your neighbor who is better than you. Moreover, the glory of Israel will not break faith and will not regret, for he is not a human that he should regret. Then he said, I have sinned. Now please honor me before the elders of my people and before Israel, and return with me so that I can worship Yahweh your God. So Samuel returned after Saul, and Saul worshipped Yahweh. Then Samuel said, Bring Agag, the king of Amalek, out to me. Agag came to him confidently, for Agag thought, Surely the bitterness of death is over. Samuel said, Just as your sword bereaved women, so will your mother be bereaved among women. Then Samuel hacked Agag to pieces in the presence of Yahweh at Gilgal. Then Samuel went to Ramah, and Saul went up to his house in Gibeah of Saul. Samuel did not see Saul again until the day of his death, but Samuel mourned over Saul, and Yahweh regretted that he made Saul king over Israel. Then Yahweh said to Samuel, How long will you mourn about Saul? I have rejected him from being king over Israel. Fill up your horn with oil and go. I will send you to Jesse the Bethlehemite, for I have chosen a king for myself among his sons. But Samuel said, How can I go? If Saul hears, he will kill me. Yahweh said, You must take a heifer from the herd with you, and you must say, I have come to sacrifice to Yahweh. You will invite Jesse to the sacrifice, and I will make known to you what you must do. You will anoint for me the one whom I tell you. So Samuel did what Yahweh said. He came to Bethlehem, and the elders of the city came trembling to meet him. They said, Have you come in peace? He said, I come in peace. I have come to sacrifice to Yahweh. Sanctify yourselves and come with me to the sacrifice. So he sanctified Jesse and his sons and invited them to the sacrifice. When they came, he saw Eliab and said, Surely his anointed one is before Yahweh. But Yahweh said to Samuel, Do not look at his appearance or at the height of his stature, because I have rejected him. For God does not see what man sees. For a man looks on the outward appearance, but Yahweh looks on the heart. Then Jesse called Abinadab and made him pass before Samuel, and he said, This one also Yahweh has not chosen. So Jesse made Shammah pass before Samuel, but he said, Yahweh also has not chosen this one. And Jesse made 7 of his sons pass before Samuel. But Samuel said to Jesse, Yahweh has not chosen any of these. Then Samuel said to Jesse, Are all the young men here? And he said, The youngest still remains, but look, he is shepherding the flock. And Samuel said to Jesse, Send and bring him, for we cannot sit down until he comes here. So he sent and brought him. Now he was ruddy with beautiful eyes and of handsome appearance. And Yahweh said, Arise, anoint him, for this is he. So Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brothers. Then the Spirit of Yahweh rushed upon David from that day on. Then Samuel got up and went to Ramah. Now the Spirit of Yahweh departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from Yahweh tormented him. So the servants of Saul said to him, "Look, please, an evil spirit from God is tormenting you. Please let our Lord command your servants who are before you. Let them seek a man skilled in playing on the lyre. When the evil spirit from God is upon you, he can play on it and you will feel better." So Saul said to his servants, "Please select a man who plays a stringed instrument well and bring him to me." One of the servants answered and said, "Look, I have seen a son of Jesse, the Bethlehemite, who was skillful in playing a stringed instrument, a brave man, a warrior, prudent in speech, and handsome, and Yahweh is with him." So Saul sent messengers to Jesse and said, "Send me David, your son, who is with the sheep." And Jesse took a donkey loaded with bread and a skin of wine and one young goat, and sent them to Saul by the hand of David, his son. So David came to Saul and entered his service. He loved him greatly, and he became Saul's armor-bearer. Then Saul sent word to Jesse, saying, "Please let David stand before me, because he has found favor in my sight." So whenever the evil spirit from God came to Saul, David would take the stringed instrument and play it with his hand. Then it would bring relief for Saul. He would feel better, and the evil spirit would depart from him. The Philistines gathered their camps for battle, and they were gathered at Socoh, which belongs to Judah. They camped between Socoh and Ezekah in Ephes-Dammim. Then Saul and the men of Israel were gathered and encamped in the valley of Elah, and they formed ranks for the battle to meet the Philistines. The Philistines were standing on the hill on one side, and the army of Israel was standing on the hill on the other side with the valley between them. Then a champion went out from the camps of the Philistines, whose name was Goliath from Gath. His head was 6 cubits in a span. A bronze helmet was on his head, and he was clothed with scale body armor. The weight of the body armor was 5,000 bronze shekels. Bronze greaves were on his legs, and a bronze javelin was slung between his shoulders. The shaft of his spear was like a weaver's beam, and the point of his spear weighed 600 iron shekels. His shield-bearer was walking in front of him. He stood and called to the battle lines of Israel and said to them, "Why have you come out to form ranks for battle? Am I not the Philistine, and you the servants of Saul? Commission for yourselves a man, and let him come down to me. If he is able to fight with me, and he defeats me, then we will be your servants. But if I prevail over him and defeat him, then you will be our servants, and you will serve us." Then the Philistine said, "I hereby defy the battle lines of Israel today. Give me a man so that we may fight each other." When Saul and all Israel heard these words of the Philistine, they were dismayed and very afraid. Now David was the son of an Ephrathite. This man was from Bethlehem of Judah, and his name was Jesse. He had 8 sons in the days of Saul. This man was old, yet he still walked among the men. The 3 oldest sons of Jesse had gone and followed Saul to the battle. The names of his 3 sons who went to the battle were Eliab the firstborn, his second oldest was Abinadab, and the third was Shammah. Now David was the youngest. The 3 oldest followed Saul, but David went back and forth from Saul to feed the sheep of his father in Bethlehem. Now the Philistine came forward early and late, and he took his stand for 40 days. Then Jesse said to his son David, "Please take for your brothers an ephah of this roasted grain and these 10 loaves of bread, and bring them quickly to the camp for your brothers. And these 10 portions of cheese you will bring to the commander of the 1,000. Find out how your brothers are doing, and take their pledge." Now Saul and they and all the men of Israel were in the valley of Elah, fighting the Philistines. David rose early in the morning and left the sheep with the keeper, and he took the provisions and went as Jesse had commanded him. He came to the encampment while the troops were going to the battle line, and they raised the war cry. Israel and the Philistines drew up in battle lines, one battle line against the other. David left the baggage he had with him in the care of the baggage keeper, ran to the battle line, and came and asked how his brothers were doing. While he was speaking to them, the champion, whose name was Goliath the Philistine from Gath, was coming up from the caves of the Philistines. He spoke just as he had previously, and David heard his words. When all the men of Israel saw the man, they fled from his presence and were very afraid. And the men of Israel said, "Did you see this man who has come up? For he is going up to defy Israel. It will be better that the man who defeats him, the king will make him very rich with great wealth, and will give his daughter in marriage, and will make his father's house free in Israel." Now David had spoken to the men who were standing with him, saying, "What will be done for the man who defeats this Philistine and removes the disgrace from Israel? For who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he defies the battle lines of the living God?" And the troops had spoken to him according to this word, saying, "So it will be done for the man who defeats him." His oldest brother Eliab heard while he was speaking to the men, and Eliab became very angry against David and said, "Why have you come down today, and with whom have you left those few sheep in the wilderness? I know your presumptuousness and the evil of your heart, for you have come down in order to see the battle." David replied, "What have I done now? I merely asked a question." He turned around from him to another opposite him, and he spoke to him in the same way, and the people answered him as before. Now the words which David had spoken were heard, and they reported them to Saul, and he summoned him. David said to Saul, "Do not let anyone's heart fail concerning him. Your servant will go and fight with this Philistine." But Saul said to David, "You will not be able to go against this Philistine to fight with him, because you are only a boy, whereas he has been a man of war since his childhood." And David said to Saul, "Your servant has been a shepherd of the flock for his father. If the lion or the bear would come and carry off a sheep from the group, I would go out after it and strike it down and rescue the sheep from its mouth. If it rose against me, I would grab it by its beard and strike it down and kill it. Your servant has struck down both the lion and the bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them, because he defied the battle lines of the living God." And David said, "Yahweh, who rescued me from the hand of the lion and from the hand of the bear, will rescue me from the hand of this Philistine." Then Saul said to David, "Go, and may Yahweh be with you." Then Saul clothed David with his own fighting attire, and put a helmet of bronze on his head, and clothed him with body armor. Then David strapped on his sword over his fighting attire, but he tried in vain to walk around, for he was not trained to use them. So David said to Saul, "I am not able to walk with these, because I am not trained to use them." So David removed them. Then he took his staff in his hand, picked out for himself 5 smooth stones from the wadi, and he put them in his shepherd's bag in the pouch. And with his sling in his hand, he approached the Philistine. Then the Philistine came on, getting nearer and nearer to David with his shield-bearer in front of him. When the Philistine looked and saw David, he despised him, for he was only a boy and ruddy with a handsome appearance. So the Philistine said to David, "Am I a dog that you are coming to me with sticks?" Then the Philistine cursed David by his gods. The Philistine said to David, "Come to me so that I can give your flesh to the birds of heaven and to the wild animals of the field." Then David said to the Philistine, "You are coming to me with a sword and with a spear and with a javelin, but I am coming to you in the name of Yahweh of hosts, the God of the battle lines of Israel, whom you have defiled. This day Yahweh will deliver you into my hand, and I will strike you down and cut off your head. Then I will give the corpses of the army of the Philistines this day to the birds of heaven and to the animals of the earth, so that all the earth may know that there is a God who is for Israel. And all of this assembly will know that Yahweh does not rescue with sword or with spear, for the battle belongs to Yahweh, and he will give you into our hands." When the Philistine got up and came and drew near to meet David, David ran quickly to the battle line to meet the Philistine. Then David put his hand into the bag and took a stone from it and slung it. He struck the Philistine on his forehead, and the stone sank into his forehead, and he fell on his face to the ground. So David prevailed over the Philistine with the sling and with the stone, and he struck down the Philistine and killed him, but there was no sword in David's hand. Then David ran and stood over the Philistine and took his sword and drew it from its sheath and killed him and cut off his head with it. When the Philistines saw that their champion was dead, they fled. The men of Israel and Judah got up, raised the war cry, and pursued the Philistines as far as the valley and up to the gates of Ekron. So the slain of the Philistines fell on the way to Shearim, up to Gath, and as far as Ekron. Then the Israelites returned from pursuing the Philistines and plundered their camp. And David took the head of the Philistine and brought it to Jerusalem and placed his weapons in his tent. Now when Saul saw David going out to meet the Philistine, he said to Abner, the commander of the army, "Whose son is this young man, Abner?" And Abner said, "As your soul lives, O king, I do not know." Then the king said, "You inquire whose son this young man is." So when David returned from striking down the Philistine, Abner took him and brought him before Saul. The head of the Philistine was in his hand. Then Saul said to him, "Whose son are you, young man?" And David said, "I am the son of your servant Jesse, the Bethlehemite." Jesus, we thank you for your word. We thank you for this week that we said goodbye to yesterday. We thank you for a brand new start today, the reminder of all things new. It is all brand new in front of us. Let us be conscientious of every word, every action, every deed, and how it may affect those around us. Are we portraying the love of Christ? Are we walking in righteousness? Are we spreading the truth of who you are? We give you this week and give you permission to speak, say, do all that you long to do in us, through us, and among us. And may we be careful to give you thanks and praise. I pray this all in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.